Hi there, I'm Anastasia and I believe you clicked this video to learn English. Or maybe you're here for an English lesson. Do you see what I did there? I just expressed the same idea in two different sentences. To learn English and for an English lesson. These prepositions are often used in the same context, so a lot of English language learners confuse them. So today, I'll explain the difference between to and for, once and for all.
Everything's in English.
All you need to know.
Alright, how did you learn to speak English?
Let's start with the uses of to. In the cases that I'm going to describe, only to can be used, so you can treat them as strict grammar rules. Number one, we use to tell the time or describe the opening hours. For example, you look at your watch and you say, it's 5:15. Or you go to a local grocery shop and then you see that the supermarket is open from 9 to 5.
Normal week is Monday through Friday. Our working day is 9 to 5.
You can also use the same rule when you talk about your own arrangements. For example, I will be on holiday from Monday to Wednesday, or I will be in Los Angeles from the 3rd to the 10th of July. I wish. These were all examples of using to when we're talking about some point in time, tell the time, or talking about opening hours. Number two, to is used to describe distances. For example, you check the map and you see that from the place where you're standing, it's 200 meters to the theatre, or it's 5 kilometers to my house, or it's 10 miles to the pharmacy.
Only 10 more miles to the bloody gate.
Number three, if you compare two things, you also use preposition to. I prefer tea to coffee. Well, I personally prefer coffee to tea, but I live in the UK, so I prefer tea to coffee. Marina prefers YouTube to Instagram. We all prefer sunny weather to pouring rain.
He's almost a stranger and I prefer him to you.
Number four, this is the case when we talk about destinations. The simplest example is when you talk about your holiday plans. For example, for my next holiday, I'm gonna go to France. After filming this video, I'll go to a supermarket.
We're going to Paris.
We will use the same logic when we talk about any kind of destination of any movement or the final point of any transfer. I take a bus to work. I gave this phone to my mother. I invited my friends to a virtual party. That's why you use to when you talk about the destination of any movement or a transfer. And the last use of to is when we're talking about limits or an end point to something. Quite commonly, you would use to as a part of a phrase, up to. For example, prices for luxury bags can go up to 6-figure numbers. Your temperature can go up to 40 degrees when you have a fever.
Up to 193 men.
By the way, not only to and for can be confusing. There are a lot of grammar topics in English that you may find challenging. That's why Marina and LinguaTrip.com's team created a grammar book and a workbook for you. You will find simple and clear explanations of grammar rules there, as well as a set of exercises with real-life phrases that will help you memorize the rules. The link to the book is in the description box. Check it out. To sum up, there are 5 cases when we use preposition to. When we tell the time or describe the opening hours, when we talk about distances, when we compare two objects, when we talk about destinations, and when we talk about limits. Now let's look at the usage of for. The first case is when we talk about calendars or scheduled arrangements. I've got an appointment at my dentist for 6 o'clock tonight. Notice the difference if we use to in a similar context. I've got an appointment at my dentist for 6 o'clock tonight. I'll be at my dentist from 6 to 8.
I'll make an appointment with Dr. Berman for tomorrow.
The next usage of for is when we talk about a period of time. Looking at our previous example, you can say, I will be at the dental practice for 2 hours. And a few more examples. I've been living in the USA for 3 years. She's been in love with him for ages. My boyfriend hasn't texted me for a few hours.
I haven't met for many years.
Number 3, for is used when we talk about actions we took to help somebody. For example, I've bought these flowers for my sister. The government increased salaries for key workers. The shop offers discounts for students.
I'm getting it for you.
Number 4, when we talk about benefits and disadvantages, we can also use for. For example, eating 5 pieces of fruit or vegetables a day is good for you. Eating too much sugar is dangerous for your health. Missing the train on the way to a job interview was unlucky for you. I'm sure you understand how this structure works in life because we use it so often.
Good for you. Good for you.
The last case when we use for is when we talk about functionality of things. For example, we use a hoover for cleaning a house. My mum uses yeast for baking bread. Or even simpler examples, a fork is for eating, a glass is for drinking, a plane is for traveling, a bed is for sleeping in. You can easily make examples of your own. Come on, do it.
The glue is not for eating.
To sum up, we use for in 5 cases. Talking about schedules and calendar arrangements, referring to a period of time, helping someone, describing benefits and disadvantages, and explaining the functionality of things. Memorize these cases and you will never make mistakes when using for again. And finally, we're moving to the trickiest part, when to and for can both be used. But we need to use different grammar structures after them. Both to and for can be used when we talk about a reason or an intention. Do you remember what I said at the beginning of the video? I came here to learn English, or I'm here for an English lesson. The meaning of these 2 sentences is exactly the same, but we use different grammar structures after the prepositions. To requires a verb after it. To learn English, or my mum wakes up early to cook breakfast. I opened YouTube to kill some time. Preposition for should be followed by a noun. I came for an English lesson. I called for a recipe. Let's go out for a drink.
Let me go for a drink.
So I've told you everything you need to know to correctly use to and for in English. Let's quickly test you. My colleague brought a coffee to me, or my colleague brought a coffee for me. Which one is correct? Actually, you can use either, but the meaning will be a little bit different. So if somebody says, my colleague brought a coffee to me, we don't know whether that coffee was for me. It just means that somebody brought it and put it next to where I am. But if I say, my colleague brought a coffee for me, it means that my colleague decided to be nice and got me a coffee. So to, in this case, shows the movement, the destination, the direction of the movement, and for means that somebody decided to help me. They brought the coffee for me. I prefer a snack to lunch, or I prefer a snack for lunch. What's the difference? In the first case, I prefer a snack to lunch. We compare 2 things, a snack and lunch, and I'm saying that I like having a snack more than I like having lunch. In the second example, I prefer a snack for lunch means that I prefer having a snack instead of my lunch. As my lunch, I prefer having a snack. So be very careful when you choose whether you use to or for so that you could avoid any confusion. Let me know in the comments below if you found this lesson useful, and also you can make your own examples with to and for so that I could see whether you understood the topic. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, check out the other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.